Good morning and welcome to the WLBB Community Voice Program here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. I'm your host today, Sara Claudia Cain, and I hope everybody is having a wonderful start to your Wednesday so far. Today, our guests, we are lucky enough to have two guests, Nan and Mark Witham. They are here to share about some incredible hardships they have faced, but how they've been able to cling onto their faith and see God's faithfulness through all of it. So thank you both for being here today. We are so thankful for your willingness to share. And I want to give you a moment just to introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, it's good to be here. We appreciate the invitation. Sarah, my name is Mark Witham, and I've lived in Carrollton for a long time, although I grew up in Atlanta. Was a teacher at Carrollton High School, taught U.S. history and government, and I have served a number of churches around the area as a worship leader and music minister, primarily on a part-time interim basis. And currently I'm retired, but work part-time at the West Georgia Regional Library. And glad to have a nice little part-time job.
Yes. I'm Nan Witham, and I moved here in 1982 when Tanner was getting their first CAT scan machine. I worked there for years, and I'm now employed at Carrollton Orthopedics, which is now Ortho West, and I do MRIs. And anyhow, I met Mark at Tabernacle when I moved here, and we got married in 1984, and we've been together ever since.
Nice. I know anybody who knows you, has grown up with you and your family, knows that family is very important to you, family and your faith. And so your son, Brian, was actually born premature, had some health challenges. Tell us a little bit about this and what this was like as first-time parents.
Well, he was born at 29 weeks, isn't that right?
28.
28 weeks, so very premature. But he did weigh a little over 3 pounds. Stayed in the hospital a little over 5 weeks. Was actually born in Atlanta and then transferred to Tanner. And you'd never know it now. He's
A lot of people knew about back then.
and so forth for us was very, very important in raising Brian initially. But again, we were blessed because he didn't have any health challenges at all after he was born. Developed normally, and he did fine.
I think that also from both of us not being from here, my hometown's in Alabama, about 2.5, 3 hours away, right below Birmingham. Mm-hmm. So neither one of us had family or support like that, and our church has always been our family. Mm-hmm. Tabernacle mainly, as he's been at other churches, they've been our family, but we always call ourselves missionaries. We always come back to Tabernacle, but our church family and people around us have been our family.
Yeah, we definitely live in a community that I've experienced it and seen it with really all of my guests here on Community Voice, how when things happen, the community really does rally around and support each other, especially when you're rooted in a church. They do become like your family.
My son said one time after Anna passed away, it was like, people think, oh, well, this is my church. Mm-hmm. But he said the church comes to life when there's a tragedy, mm-hmm. and the church is the people of God. Mm-hmm. And they all come out.
Yeah. In different ways, like we read in 1 Corinthians, everybody has that different ability to serve as the body of Christ, whether it's bringing you food, just sitting with you, crying with you, supporting you. So that's definitely a blessing, and a blessing that Brian grew and developed normally and now has this beautiful family that you get to enjoy as grandparents. I know that's a blessing.
Absolutely.
But you recently remembered, you and your family, what would have been the 36th earthly birthday. We know they celebrated in heaven, their heavenly birthday, the birthday of your twin girls. So can you tell our listeners about Anna and Elizabeth?
Well, it was quite a shock to get the news that we were going to have twins, expecting twins. That was not something that was in our mindset, but we found out later we did have twins in the family going back several generations. They were born at Eggleston in, was it Eggleston?
No, Crawford Long.
Crawford Long, yes. They were born at Crawford Long. They took us up there and then began to develop initially some swelling in their abdomen, and the doctor recognized that as being a childhood issue with premature births, an infection in the bowel. So they began to treat them with antibiotics and so forth. Elizabeth showed signs first, and they put her on the antibiotic, and then Anna came along later. This was in, I guess, their second day, and then the third day they had surgery, both of them. This was at Eggleston. And we, initially didn't think that it was going to be anything real serious, but then the infection called necrotizing enterocolitis had pretty much destroyed all of Elizabeth's bowel. And I never forget when the doctor came out, and you could see this look on his face that it was not good. And as we were sitting in the waiting room, and then Anna went into surgery, and later that night came back, and they had to remove a large portion of her bowel, but it was a better prognosis. The antibiotics had because they had started her on that earlier, had actually slowed down the infection. And again, talk about family. When we got the news about Elizabeth, we were sitting there just alone, really not knowing what to do, and looked around, and there was our pastor. Just, he was coming back from somewhere and heard that we were at Eggleston and just stopped to see what was going on. And that was Ron Stone, and we'll always remember that, seeing his face. And sitting there with us, and then others began, as the news came about, began to kind of gather around. But Elizabeth died on Sunday morning. She was 5 days old, and she died in my arms. They took her off all of her things and put her in my arms, and she died very peacefully. Anna continued to improve, and we were able to take her home after, about 6 weeks. But she continued to have health problems on and on, and had to go back to the hospital numerous times. I look back on it and I wonder how we survived, because she would go back to the hospital for bowel issues, and then when she was about 4,
she had a colostomy until she was 8 months old.
Yeah.
And then they did a reversal, but she just had short gut syndrome that acts like Crohn's disease. So she might be good for a few months, and then she'd have really bad months. One time we we were in the hospital with her for 5 weeks, I believe, straight when she was a year old, year and a half old. And I'm sorry, I forget where we were going with
Well,
that.
it was just when she was about 4,
right.
I guess it was, she began to develop seizures. And so that was something else that we didn't know, anything about. And so her first seizure, they actually life-flighted her to Alabama, to Children's Hospital in Alabama, because it was so severe and they couldn't stop it. We were over there for I don't know how many weeks.
No, we were just there a day or two for that one. That's when they put her on medicine. Told us that nobody ever died of a seizure. I'm like, okay, I'd like to talk to that doctor again. But
Yeah.
But she had to grow up as a child and then a young teenager, dealing with her bowel problems that would just were very, very painful, and then the possibility of seizures coming at whatever time, particularly if she forgot to take her medicine. And then she developed migraines, and I can just, remember her so well, just in the room in total darkness with the sheets pulled over her head, just, in such terrible pain from migraines. But through it all, she had the sweetest, dearest personality. She loved everybody. She empathized with people, particularly people that were marginalized, people that had special needs, and others.
people that were different. She always
Different. She
included.
always was attracted to them.
Yeah.
She had such a love for people, and to see her when everything was well and she was feeling good, you'd never know anything was wrong with her. She was a beautiful spirit inside and a beautiful person outside. I remember one time we had a day at Carrollton when I was teaching there and she was a student. And they had a change-up day during lunch, and they asked people not to sit with their regular crowd. And a lot of kids just didn't go to lunch that day. They were not willing to go out and meet new people. But Anna came home. She sat with these 2 special needs kids and came home and said, "I just made 2 new friends today." And she was so excited. And, hope we do this again. And that was just her personality, the way she was.
Yeah. Now, I imagine growing up with the health challenges she did, it made her have that empathy. And I thank you for sharing so much so far. We're going to take a short break to hear from our sponsors, Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy. Stay tuned here on Community Voice.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
Oak Mountain Academy is an innovative school of academic excellence celebrating over 61 years. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school, inviting you to join us on the mountain to see our mission and vision in action. Academic excellence, a faith-based environment, and dynamic opportunities are just a few of the reasons our families choose Oak Mountain Academy. Academic scholarships and tuition assistance are available. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us. Discover your journey at OMA. Prepare, explore, and achieve.
All right, welcome back to the Community Voice program here on WLBB. We are here with Nan and Mark Witham, who are sharing about challenges they have faced we heard about your twin girls, their birth, losing Elizabeth when she was just 5 years old, and then you're telling us about
4
Anna's
days old.
4 days old.
Excuse me.
You're telling us about Anna and her health challenges, but how she was just a light. And unfortunately, you lost her when she was how old?
17.
17. I remember seeing her memorial page in, I guess it was the yearbook. I was very young, but her picture is still ingrained in my mind. Mark, you were saying just how beautiful she was inside and out. And I remember, I didn't know her personally, but just seeing her picture, she was such a beautiful girl. And I appreciate what you shared about how she had that empathy for people who are different and just came out of her comfort zone to show love to those people. And I want to ask you, because I know I've interviewed several parents who have gone through similar situations, but how did you balance, your own grieving process, but also having young children with both losses? You had Brian, and he was young, and then when you lost Anna, I guess you had Brian and young little Laura Kate. How did you navigate that?
Well, of course, her death was very sudden. We were actually on a choir trip to North Carolina, and Brian was on his own by that time, living in his own place, and Anna was actually staying with a pastor friend of ours, and she had a seizure while she was there. They had gone to the Rome Braves game the night before, and she went home and spent the night and had a seizure while she was there. She got over it. Everything seemed to be okay, and she went back to sleep and never woke up. And so Brian called us, and it was, it's one of those things that you just never expect. In spite of the difficulties that she had, you never expected her to pass away. Although I know in my heart that she was prepared for it. She loved God. She loved people. She knew that her health challenges would continue, and at some point she might, God may take her home. And I think she was ready for that.
She had spent the night, she was with Hannah Wright, and Hannah told us that the night they had stayed up late that night and talking, and she had told Hannah, she said, I will not live to be an adult. And she was, prepared and knew that she was here on earth. She always said she was going to be a missionary, if she did grow up. That was what she wanted to do, and we knew she would never be able to travel far to do that, but her missionary field was here. And so I feel like she always knew that. I have, over the years, gotten so many Facebook messages from different kids and stuff. 5 or 6 years ago, I got a beautiful letter from a girl who I believe lives in Villa Rica now, but she was telling me that she had moved to Carrollton and knew nobody and just was very sad and was at school and just was unable to meet people and fit in. But Anna had befriended her, and how sweet Anna had been. But she was very down, and I guess Anna picked up on it and had written her a note and put it in her backpack about God's love and how much God loved her, and that she would be praying for her. And this girl said she'd gone home one day from school thinking of killing herself, and she said this note fell out of her backpack. And she tells me that saved her life, that she knew that Anna was praying for her and that God loved her, and how thankful she is today because now she has a family with children, and
Wow.
She's always just been thankful that Anna had put that note in her backpack.
Oh, man, I got chills hearing that story. And I know it doesn't make it any easier, but it had to have bring you some sort of peace knowing that she was ready and the lives that she touched in her short life. I thank you for sharing that. And we're going to take one more short break to hear from our sponsors, Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy, and we'll be back to hear more on Community Voice.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
The AP Scholar Journey at Oak Mountain Academy is designed to provide students with a clearly defined advanced placement curriculum track to earn a series of distinctions upon graduation. This journey enables academically prepared students to pursue college-level studies throughout 17 AP courses in 5 subject categories while enrolled at OMA. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school, inviting you to journey with us on the mountain. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us. Discover your journey at OMA. Prepare, explore, and achieve.
Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice program here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. We're here with Nan and Mark Witham, who are sharing about the challenges they face losing their twin girls, Anna and Elizabeth, but how just the impact that both of these lives had. We were talking about the life that Anna lived in 17 years and how she just spread Christ's love so beautifully in her short life, and we're thankful for that. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about how you kind of walked your other children through that grief. I know Brian was older, but you had a younger daughter as well.
We did. Brian, as I said earlier, was on his own. He had his own place, and it was difficult. A lot of his friends gathered around him. He was in a band at that time, and his bandmates gathered around him. I mean, it was just, once again, the community turnout and the way they embraced us. People that we knew, people that we didn't know, people at our church, people at other churches that I'd served, school people. It was just incredible. But Larkate, our youngest, was the one I think that we were most concerned about because she just adored Anna, and Anna adored her. They were so very close, and I'm not sure exactly how she felt. She's never really been able to express it too much. The loss that she felt when she fully understood that Anna was gone. But one thing that we did do is that we had Anna moments at night before we went to bed, and we just shared our memories of Anna and funny things, dumb things. I mean, Anna could do some really dumb things sometimes, make us all laugh. She was not very coordinated and just different things. And so we would have an Anna moment and just talk about her, and then we'd have prayer and, thank God for Anna. And she's grown up in the same way. She reminds us so much of Anna in her own personality. She is her own person, but she has that same love and empathy and desire to just do God's will and so forth. And Anna had a big impact on her as sort of maybe a role model. And other kids have said the same thing as well.
She used to tell me, she said, I think the one thing that Anna left me that I loved the most were her friends. Mm. Her friends gathered around Laura Kate, I think, to have a little bit of Laura Kate, have a little bit of Anna around them, but it was such a blessing to have them be a big sister, or
Yeah.
to her. Anyhow, it was. That was such a good thing for Laura Cain.
Yeah, people just surrounded us. It was just amazing, and still we get emails and cards and things. I mean, Anna passed away in 2005.
It's been 18 years this
yeah,
year.
It's been a long time. And we still, people on Facebook, and if we post a picture, we get 100 responses back. It's just incredible the way people will respond, and I think that means a lot to both my kids, to Brian to know that she's remembered, and to Anna, to Laura Cain as well, to know that she's remembered, and they don't mind being referred to sometimes as Anna's big brother or Anna's little sister. They kind of think that that's an honor.
Laura Cain works at Barnes, and she said, "Mom, somebody will come through and I get that stare." She said, "But it makes me feel so good when they come up and say, 'Are you Anna's little sister?' Because you look so much like her." And she says, "It makes me feel so good when they do. Finally, tell me what that stare is."
Yeah, definitely. Just hearing about the life she lived, I'm sure it's an honor to be recognized in that way. And I know various challenges you've faced recently. You faced, Mark, health challenges. How through all of this have you been able to really cling to your faith?
Well, choir sang at Tab last Sunday, and I've sung it at a couple of funerals recently. The Brooklyn Tab song called "He's Been Faithful," and that sums it all up. In times of difficulty, last February I had February 23. I had triple bypass surgery, which was totally unexpected, and came through it great. I have everything is fine now, but just the faithfulness of God through whatever we face. It is the most amazing thing that I can express. His love, His grace, His mercy comes through other people that are around you, people that you know, that you don't know. The peace that you get from God, knowing that we'll see Anna again. She's in heaven, and we know that her faith was strong, and so we've said oftentimes, how do people handle this kind of situation, the loss of a child, without a strong faith in God? I don't know how you
or
walk
anything
through
day
that.
to day. It's like without God, I do not know how people do.
Yeah.
You never get over it, but you learn to live with it, and God brings peace. He brings comfort. The Bible says that blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. And the blessing is in the comforting, not in the mourning, but it's in the comforting that we get.
Yeah, and definitely being able to look back and see God's faithfulness all throughout this story and His love. Thank you both so much for sharing. I know it has blessed a lot of people listening. Thank you all for coming and listening to Nan and Mark, and we look forward to seeing you again on Community Voice.